Testing. I think that would be an easy way to open because it's a compliment and it's a true one. They were one of our
background for
because that'll open them up. I mean,
once he tells that story, then I want to ask about sponsorships.
Super pumped having Bryan Callen in the studio today, man. Somebody who we've watched for a long time, loved The Fighter and the Kid.
Like what separates like a great comic from somebody who's like kind of a journeyman and they may never make it anywhere. Like to kind of talk about that. I want to find out more about.
And I'd like to talk about how comedy is it's the canary in the coal mine. It's the last bastion of free speech.
Oh, that's of comedy. Yeah, I think you should tell the history of comedy before he even gets to talk.
Do you want to start with comedy first?
Start with telling the history of comedy
right.
and the importance of it.
Love the work he's doing. Love his stand-up. He's been just an inspiration for us building this business. So it was really cool to have him come in the studio first time.
Nick Diaz's trainer.
Oh, wow.
Luke Rockhold. He gets in there and bangs with those guys.
Right.
Pretty funny though. Didn't think that he was going to be that big. He's bigger than he looks. He looks like a small guy next to Brendan Schaub all the time. And then to see him walk in, and you should have seen the look on Sal's face. Sal instantly always sizes up anybody who comes in our studio.
Sal was a little bit jealous of my natural physique. I think he obviously spends a lot of time in the gym, and I think when he saw me, he went like this. He went like that. And I was like, "What's wrong?" And he goes, "Hey, your body." Like what I love about fighting is that you can be. You're a black belt in Shotokan karate. Cool. You're a black belt in Kung Fu, whatever it is, awesome. Now get into a fucking ring and see how you can defend a double leg, motherfucker.
Yeah, so we had Bryan Callen in the studio. It was really awesome. He's got a nice physique. You could tell he deadlifts and does lunges. You could tell he does a lot of lunges. Backstep lunges especially because it works the posterior chain, the glutes and the hamstrings.
There becomes this weird alpha thing, and then I noticed that his back kind of he walks straight back, but when I kind of took the room over, his back kind of bent like this, and he looked like he was huddled against rain or something. Like all of a sudden there's this hailstorm, which is Bryan Callen. And that's not what I said. That's what I think Adam said under his breath.
Bryan obviously is a real pro at what he does, which is refreshing because, I work with some pretty good guys, but they're not quite there yet. A little more experience under their belt. I'm pretty sure that they'll be able to, at least get maybe about 60-70% of the way where Bryan is. But, they made a lot of progress since we first got started.
I think at the time I was 50 or 51, and I was like, I had my own TV show, huge podcast, headlining all over, making lots of money. And Adam started asking me about what I do to be disproportioned, and I think I said genetics, which is part of the reason, but also I don't do this fancy shit that these guys do. I don't take a straight razor to my torso, which I'm sure they all do. There's not a hair on their forearms because they want you to see how striated they are.
What happened and, what that looks like now?
You mean Fighter and the Kid?
Yeah.
And Justin, frankly, I think is attracted to me. I said it out loud.
Me and Bryan had a little bit of an awkward exchange initially. I went to go shake his hand. He seemed a little taken back by my stature.
I'm not saying that he's not a straight man, but he was looking at me in a soft but hungry way.
And I tried to kind of, reposition my posture, make him feel comfortable, make it more inviting.
And I noticed that and I've seen this before, he was arching his back a little bit more than he should have, I think, to show me what he's working with when it comes to his posterior chain. So I didn't appreciate that very much. Overall, though, I thought the podcast was great. This is the formula. You want to be successful in Hollywood? Okay, I'm just going to tell you how I did it.
But the beautiful thing about Bryan coming in the studio is he really took charge of the whole episode. And so the flow was really good there. The energy was really high. The guys didn't really have a chance to talk a lot. And I think that's really important when you're an interviewer. You need to learn how to just kind of shut up and let somebody talk. And Bryan kind of forced them into that position.
I thought they spoke a little too much. Could have asked me more questions. But I think I'm going to have that sort of Bropra effect on the podcast. It's about to, and you're welcome. Brandon Schaub's a really good businessman, and we had this great chemistry. And I'd had so much practice. By the time I was 51, yeah, dude, it took me 25 fucking years. That's not even a success.
Seems like a very nice guy, very smart guy, very, very smart guy. Just boring.
There is a serious group of conspiracy theorists, and they take this shit very seriously. I don't even know what to say about it. I love doing it, though. I love debating them. I'm probably going to be kicked off Vimeo or Patreon soon because you're not allowed to be talking about conspiracy.
Being the kind of the pitch man of Mind Pump, I can appreciate that Bryan kept trying to sell stuff.
Miami, February 4th, 5th, and 6th. Everybody, fucking Miami Improv. Then I'll be in Nashville, February 11th, 12th, and 13th, Zanies.
But I took him aside afterwards and gave him some pointers because it was too obvious. Like it wasn't. You're not selling anything the way you're doing it, Bryan. You gotta. There's a better way.
And now they're in the gym right now waiting for me to take them through a workout. And I'll probably just do some body weight exercises to show them how strong they're not, if you will. Mind Pump Podcast. Not as good as Big and Hungry Podcast, which is coming soon, or Conspiracy Social Club, but listen, these kids are trying.
All right, we got it.
Yeah, we're old school, Bryan.
Old school is right.
Hell yeah.
Thanks again, man.